Broadcasting from Watts Creative Studios and live on Grove Street FM. You're listening to Talk Local to Me, brought to you by the Central Virginia Business Coalition.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Talk Local to Me. I'm your host, allegedly, Mike Norfield from Visiting Angels, and Heather is not here today. So this is the point where I would pick on her and say we're going to have a great show, but I'm not going to do that because she is actually at the hospital waiting on her granddaughter to be born. So I know a lot of people have been asking how that's going, and the answer is no news is good news. So I think it's gonna be a slow process for them. So they're having fun hanging out at the good old Virginia Baptist Hospital, and we will be thinking about them today. And I actually won't make fun of Heather today too much, just because, I'm going to be nice. So, but we've got a great show planned today, though. We've got, of course, we also always have Dr. Woody in the house. He's going to help me out a little bit today.
Yes, I am present.
Yes. And we've also got Mike Schmidt from J.Galt. So how are you today?
I am great. I'm just really grateful for the opportunity to be here today.
Yeah, we're glad to have you. So I'm really excited to hear about your business and things like that, just because it's something that, we opened our office in 2017 and you have to go through the whole thing. They need, it's your personal finances are kind of tied in with your business, things like that. And so when I heard about what you do, I was like, I've been waiting on this since 2017. Like, where's this guy been? So I think it's going to be a great show. And I think we'll have some learn quite a bit today about that. So why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about, kind of how long you've been doing this and the things that J.Galt does.
Sure. Yeah.
Things like that.
It's kind of a different way of, it's like a different lens to see business through.
Yeah.
So what J.Galt does is we work with small and medium-sized businesses, and we help them separate and keep separate their personal credit from their business credit.
Okay.
And we do that by helping them build a robust credit profile on their EIN, which is attached to their LLC, their S Corp, their C Corp. That way, if they need money for their business, they're not putting their personal credit and finances at risk to fund it. So it's a process, but I think the biggest issue that we've seen, and COVID is probably the best case study of this. 1.6 million small businesses just disappeared. Right. And our company's founder and CEO, who has about a dozen other businesses he's associated with and has founded, basically just said, I've had enough. PTSD from 2008. Friends that had lost everything. One that he took into his family that ended up committing suicide. It'd be great if I could tell you that that's a one-off, but that's not an uncommon thing in our world we live in today. And so we don't have the numbers for 2023 quite yet, but it's right around 600,000 small businesses went out. And the number one reason why those businesses go out is lack of cash flow and lack of access to funding.
Yeah.
And so we're there to basically combat that. We're there to eliminate cash flow casualties is what we're really trying to do. And the dirty little secret that I don't think most small business owners know is that if you have outstanding or even better than good corporate credit, you have access to 10 to 100 times more funding than you would ever have personally. But again, the world we live in is, and nothing against the banks, the retail banks, but they only can sell what they have. What they have is SBA loans and different machinations of revolving lines of credit that are all personally guaranteed. And so that's really the model or the paradigm or the lenses that most small business owners look through. And it can feel a little daunting because ultimately it's great if things go well, right? But what happens when they don't?
When things are good, they're great. But when they go bad, they go really bad.
Yeah. Absolutely. And like I said, it's from a standpoint of the CVABC and the Central Virginia and just our local community. I love this area. I'm relatively new to this area, but Lynchburg and the surrounding area is so cool to me because the chains haven't taken everything over. right? This is a really unique area where there's a lot of entrepreneurship and small business thriving here, where the chains and the big boxes have not completely swamped them.
Right.
Other areas I've lived in throughout the Midwest, that's not the case.
Right. You've got, 16 Chipotle's in a town and, and, things like that. So, I went and supported local today. I went to the Blue Lady.
Yeah.
I was actually headed there for lunch and Heather was like, "Hey, I need a ribbon for a ribbon cutting. Jay's got it ready. Can you pick it up?" I'm like, "Sure." I was actually headed there for lunch. So it worked out. And the thing that I love about local businesses, so I went in, Jay and his team from the Blue Lady just catered our dinner that you were at the other night, the awards dinner.
That was
and
great.
The food was amazing. Like that's the best food we've ever had at a catered event with the CVABC. So we've got a lot of talented caterers and things like that in the CVABC, but they knocked it out of the park. And so I wanted to go and make sure we told them like, hey, y'all did a great job. I got a BLT. Let me tell you, it's the best BLT of like BLTs do not sound fancy, but like I love a good BLT. There is nothing better. I actually had to get it to go because Jay and I were standing there talking so long. I was like, I don't have time to sit down and eat this. I need to get it to go. And I love that about local business, that you can get to know the people who run the business and own the business. And that is, I'm sure it's not just unique to this area, but I think for me, especially being involved with the CVABC, and it's such a community that supports each other, like everywhere I go. And if I go into a business and I know the person, like it's not a quick stop, right?
Yeah.
Which is not a complaint. That's a great thing because we're more likely to support each other, things like that. So,
well, and that's why I
totally
love what I do, because I've been a serial entrepreneur. Just kind of a little background about myself. I mean, I've been
spill all the dirt.
Yeah.
Come on, Mike.
I mean, so, I've been in restaurants.
Yeah.
I've had a medical device practice. Most recently, a tech startup started in 2019. You can imagine how that one turned out.
Right.
So I have a lot of the scars and I paid the tuition to be able to know what it's like and to also really be passionate about protecting, prospering, and promoting small businesses. And that's really our mission, right? Is the protection part is huge, right? We need to make sure that small businesses are looking at this worst case scenario game, is what I used to call it.
Yeah.
Because small business owners, I have that same screw loose, right? You kind of have a little bit of a screw loose to do this on your own.
You do.
But that being said, like that optimism is what makes America exceptional.
Right.
Right. It's that going out and hanging your own shingle. There's nowhere else that you can do what you can do here. Right. We lose that, we lose our country.
Right.
And so based on that optimism's great, but sometimes we feel like we're 10 foot tall and bulletproof.
Right.
And that's a dangerous place to be. And so what we want to try to do is, number one, educate, right? That there's a different way. There's a better way to do this. And not to necessarily throw the baby out with the bathwater, that some of the traditional funding sources that you're using, you don't run away from those as fast as you can, but it's a process by which you can slowly pull yourself away from that. And our process usually takes about 9 to 12 months.
Okay.
Depending on the kind of capital intensive, like what they buy, how much product they buy, because our strategy in essence is using trade lines, EIN based trade lines, to establish a credit profile and then build rapidly. But that all kind of starts out by helping these small business build a fundable profile. And a lot of times, as silly as it may sound, they're not aware that from a business credit bureau standpoint and how business credit is completely different and separate than personal credit.
Right.
But LexisNexis, which was kind of like the Google when you and I were kids, right?
Right.
They primarily do research on businesses, and they basically provide that information to Dun & Bradstreet, Experian Business, Equifax Business, basically as a fraud prevention, right? But there's about 125 different metrics that they look at with business profiles to make sure that they're legitimate, right? Do they have a physical address?
Right.
A P.O. box at the UPS store doesn't cut it.
Right.
If it's Joe's Plumbing, is it joesplumbing.com or is it joesplumbing@gmail.com?
Right.
You know what I mean? You have to have an actual, email address, a website, a a landline phone number that is registered with National 411.
Right.
We live in this different world now where you can cut some of those corners.
Right.
We help them. We kind of say, like, we put the shirt and tie on, the suit and tie on that business from a standpoint of how they look to LexisNexis, so that we can set up that Dun & Bradstreet number and get them that fundable profile. Once they have that fundable profile, now it's about establishing trade lines on their EIN. Now, what J.Galt does, the value of the membership, we have about 45,000 members and we're growing literally exponentially right now, is the vendors and issuers of credit, which we have about 500 partner companies right now. The two rules is they have to provide us with their approval criteria in writing in advance, and they have to report to the credit bureaus.
Okay.
So with our members, they go through this software that helps them with this credit building, but they also have a team. We call them our member delight team, but that consists of onboarding specialists, credit analysts, and finance analysts that basically are their go-to dedicated team. We don't allow them to apply for credit until we already know they're going to be approved. And why that's super important is businesses could potentially do what we do on their own. We don't pretend like what we do is some kind of amazing thing.
Right.
The difference is we take all the guesswork out.
Right.
Because if a business applies for credit and they get denied, they can't go back to that well for 6 to 12 months. That really sets you back.
Yeah. And that can, you do it once and then 6, 12 months later, you do get business credit, then, that's fine. But what happens if you try again and it doesn't work? And then you're up to 2 years out and things like that. So,
and the other part is that it's really hard to know who reports and who they report to.
Right. And having that criteria for what the approval would be based on ahead of time, so that you can kind of look and kind of know, like, all right, so we're not going to qualify because of this. Mm-hmm. But because when you apply for business credit or even personal credit, sometimes you don't know what they're looking for. Like, you don't know what the threshold is. So having that ahead of time is a huge advantage.
Yeah, and having the team to really look at your credit profile, because everybody has one, whether it's accurate or not, that's a whole different story. Right. And part of our team, what they do is they remediate some of those issues. Part of it is in business credit, your profile is attached to your address. So no different than the studio here. If there was something here previous to the studio, if we were to run a credit profile on this address, there may be 2 or 3 other businesses that are attached to this address.
Right. And if one of those businesses went out of business,
yes,
and they went out kind of like we talk about the worst case scenario, mm-hmm. like if they went out and it was bad and it's tied to this address, that could affect your current business.
Right.
The current business is here. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So we help them resolve all those issues.
Okay.
Making sure that basically when we set up that profile, it's clean, that those issues have been resolved. And like I said, they go down about a 9 to 12 month process. Now, these trade lines, it's not like we're asking them to spend money that they don't already spend. We're asking them to spend the money that they normally spend, but let's spend it intentionally with vendors that report to help you get where you want to get to.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So if they're buying office supplies at Office Max down the street, okay, well, you can buy it from Quill on a net 30-day EIN based account. Same prices, right?
Right.
But now it's actually helping you build business credit.
Okay.
Right. You're buying toilet paper, you're buying paper towels, you're buying all that
and
stuff.
Quill has everything.
Yeah. You can get it from Uline, whatever. We have a variety of different vendors, and we have no financial back end interest. It truly is just, hey, you want access to our 45,000 members? Great. This is what we need from you. And that's it. And those vendors do sometimes change. As we are growing so fast, we're having more and more companies, we're getting a lot of attention. So more and more issuers of credit are saying, hey, can we be part of that? Yeah,
right.
Yeah, but this is what we need from you.
Right.
But they spend about 2 months, maybe sometimes 3, in that first tier of credit, which is, trade lines, net 30 accounts, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Then they graduate to tier 2 credit, which is like retail credit cards. Again, these are unsecured, EIN based only. Maybe those limits aren't real high, but they're with some of those normal retail companies that we normally use. I don't want to go into the list. It's pretty extensive, but in essence, what we're going to be doing there is we're going to be monitoring the credit, making sure that those payments that they're making on time are being tracked. And we're kind of holding the business owner accountable too, right? You got to make sure you're paying your bills on time.
Right.
Right. It's a two-way street.
You can't have this hanging out there and be like, it's a 30-day, a net 30, and it's 90 days out. And we haven't paid it. Like,
yeah,
that's not going to.
It's a self-defeating thing.
You're defeating the purpose there. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like I said, we're a team. We do this together, but it does require the business owner or their team or their accountant or their bookkeeper or whatever to work with us. I usually say it's about 2 to 3 hours a month, right? Where they're
Right.
kind of working the plan. It's kind of like a workout program. They all work, but you got to adhere to them.
Right.
Right. So sometimes I have to tell people just like, you got to eat your green beans. You got to pay your bills on time.
Right.
Right. But we're doing it on purpose. We're doing it intentionally. Once we get to tier 3 credit, it gets real fun. That's when we involve our cash flow mapping software, which is awesome. It's the most intuitive thing I've ever worked with. If I can figure it out, anybody can figure it out. Right. Because we're getting you shiny new credit.
Right.
Now we don't want you to burn a hole in your pocket.
Right.
So that tier 3 credit also is your big box stores. That's your Home Depots, your Lowe's, your Tractor Supplies, your HD supplies, your Harbor Freights of the world. So contractors, this is for you, man. And this is all EIN based. These limits are going to be growing and growing and growing. So we're adding all this up. We're adding the cash flow mapping software. We're getting them additional trade lines. That cash flow mapping software allows them to do what I used to call pro forma work, which is it's really annoying for your accountants. They hate it because they can all do it, but they have to build all these spreadsheets in Excel. They're going to charge you, for this service. But in essence, it's just putting your fixed and variable expenses in a format that's very intuitive. And it allows you to plan. Okay, if I can afford a new truck and another employee, how does that affect my bottom line? What kind of top line revenue do I have to capture in order to keep my cash flow where it needs to be? Once we get, and I hate to go, I know that this has been kind of a back and forth conversation, but your personal credit, your FICO score runs 350 to 850. And pretty much everybody knows where they're at or pretty close to.
I'm at 349.
No,
I'm kidding.
Right.
I'm kidding.
But in business credit, it's 0 to 100.
Okay.
And there's two big reporters. It's Paydex, which is through D&B, and then there's IntelliScore. But once you get above an 80, which is about a 720 personal.
Okay.
As to, relative.
Yeah.
You apply for tier 4 credit, and tier 4 credit is now where you can get revolving lines of credit, AR-based funding, PO-based funding. You're going to have lenders coming to you looking to do business with you.
Right.
It's kind of changes the game because I hate to say it like this, but because I have lots of friends in the banking industry and nothing against the banking industry, but when you need money is usually when the banks say, I'm sorry.
Right.
When you don't need money is when they're beating on your door saying, hey,
right.
Can I help you? It's a little bit different in business credit. Once you build that really robust business credit, they're throwing offers left and right at you. And where it really, really matters is the interest rates are lower, the terms are better. And again, this is all stuff that's based completely on your EIN, not personally guaranteed. So we've had many, many members, that have been blown away. If they're a contractor and they need to get a new truck, those trucks are $85,000, $90,000
right.
for a souped-up F-250, right? And if they're buying those retail, they're paying 7, 8, 8.5% on a 5-year maximum, term. Through business, we're seeing rates anywhere from 1.5 to 3 with 7-year terms.
Okay.
So if you just do the quick math on an $85,000 truck, that's $15,000, $17,000 in interest you're saving,
right? And
just by building that credit.
And when you're looking at it as a tool for your business instead of a vehicle, because it's not going to be like your daily driver kind of thing, like it's being used to do the operations of the business. It's a different kind of investment. Yeah. So it makes sense that they would look at that as like, hey, we can plan this investment for your business out for a longer period of time with lower interest rate, because it's not like a typical retail car loan for an individual.
And the last aspect I always like to hit on, and I know we've only got a few minutes left, is how this affects kind of I call it the John Wayne Sunset Plan. right? Like most small business owners get into business, they experience some success, and then they start thinking about, okay, well, there's only 3 options you really have in business, right? You can run it till you die.
Right.
You can give it to the kids, or you can sell it.
Right.
Right. And if
got to have the succession plan.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
my big word of the
and
day.
a big part of that, again, part of being intentional and us wanting to help small business owners is okay, if you really have the ambitions to sell that business at some point, it is absolutely imperative that we build EIN credit.
Because so what I'm hearing you say is that, so if somebody, so let's say Woody, I'm going to use Woody as the example, Dr. Woody.
Yeah.
So if Woody builds this and it gets really big and Woody's like, you know what, I think I'd rather just go live at Disney. And he sells the business. Whoever buys the business is buying not just the EIN in the business, but they're also buying that business's credit.
Yeah, I mean that would be the best case scenario, right?
Right.
Because honestly, if Woody had all of this tied up and was basically personally bankrolling this place,
right,
personally guaranteeing everything, this business is worth less without him in it, right?
Right.
And now it is leveraged based upon what's the personal credit of the person buying the business.
Right.
If you establish business credit and you do a stock sale, well, now that revolving line of credit and all those trade lines come with the business.
Right.
Now, how much more is somebody willing to pay for that business?
That's what I was sitting here thinking.
Involved, right?
It makes it a more valuable product.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, you've got this business that not only is turnkey because it's established, but you've also got a way to be able to fund it.
Yeah.
From the beginning.
And we've even seen it where they're doing, legacy, right? Where Junior's gonna buy them out, right? And that's hairy because Junior's credit may not be great either. And now mom and dad are sitting there going, you mean we're going to be in Florida and still having to co-sign on Junior's and still be tied up with this?
Yeah.
So again, even in those cases, it's the best way to do that. And again, you're increasing the value of that asset.
Yeah.
Right. So for us, again, it's a different way of looking at things. It's a different lens. So like I said, most of what I do is actually education.
Okay.
It's just, and actually I know we're up against it here, but I got to put a shameless plug in next week. Next Thursday, I'm actually going to be doing a lunch and learn at
the not a shameless plug. That's what I was getting ready to say next.
Yeah. So
yes,
noon to 1, bring your own lunch, but I'll be doing kind of a more in-depth presentation of what we've talked about today. And just like with some case studies, examples, just really mapping out exactly how we do what we do, and kind of how it applies to small business in general, everything from a single member LLC all the way up to medium-sized businesses with 100 employees and $12 million in revenue.
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter.
And so what I'm also hearing from you that I'm kind of learning as we go along with you here today, but so J.Galt is not just a solution to be able to tell you like, well, this is how you do it, but it sounds like it's almost like a partnership and you guys help through the entire process. I'm
glad you brought that up. Yeah, we're a software as a service company. Okay, with what we call white glove service. So right now, that's you pay a one-time fee for the membership, and that right now is lifetime. We probably will move more to like a 2-year model because most of the heavy lifting is done in 2 years. Because obviously we internally finance some of those fees right now where we can do like 12 months same as cash and things like that. Because I know business owners are strapped sometimes. We're bringing in a third party that's going to help us finance that privately with the business owner. But from my perspective, it's still extraordinarily affordable. But yeah, it's basically a membership. Into that, you have access to the software, the team, the credit analysts, etc., and much more that we can talk about on Thursday.
Yeah, sounds good. So I'll be there Thursday for that. So awesome. I plan on, at least I think my schedule's free that day. We'll see. So I've got 3 questions for you.
Yeah.
First, if somebody wants to get in touch with you and find out more information, how can they do that?
Sure. Probably the best way would hit my website. That is J.Galt, JGALT.io/M Schmidt, SCHMITT. That's my personal website on there. That's got all the resources of our company, but it also has my personal calendar on there. So if you want to click my little Zoom calendar link, you can schedule a 15-minute get to know me, a 30-minute consultation, anything like that. Anybody who wants to get a free business credit report can just reach out to me there, and I can actually run that credit report for them just to kind of get a snapshot of where they're at. That's
Awesome.
about a $50 value.
Okay.
And we'll be talking more about that, like I said, on Thursday.
Perfect. So there are 2 questions I ask every podcast ghost, every podcast guest, not every podcast ghost. The ghost left today. So, ladies, you can prepare for this question. You're getting a little sneak peek here. So I ask every guest, how long have you been part of the CVABC?
Sure. Little over a month, actually.
Yeah, so brand new.
Yeah, I'm very new.
Yeah, and it's exciting stuff. So being a new member, this question might be answered a little bit differently. What do you think is the greatest benefit of being a CVABC member?
Well, number one, I think as I've gotten to know the team and Heather and yourself and just so many of the other people that are involved, and I know a lot of it's volunteer stuff too, which is awesome. It's very rare you see in a community like this the kind of engagement that you have in CVABC.
Yeah.
I mean, just last night we were at that ribbon cutting for Vows by Vanessa. And just to see the people who showed up that night, just last night, hey, just to support, just there for support, I think that's awesome. I mean, I'm a true believer in localism, and this is, you kind of see it at its purest form, the way you guys are doing all this.
Yeah, it's great. So you talk about the ribbon cutting. So Vows by Vanessa, she joined in August.
Yeah.
So she had a very nice crowd at her ribbon cutting. My wife opened a business in like October, November, and had like 35 people at her ribbon cutting. So like the fact that people come out and support new business and people that have been around, for quite a while, things like that. It's great to see. Homegrown company, they had a ribbon cutting not too long ago, and I was there for that. And there was a great turnout for that. So I even met my landlord's wife and got a little scoop on the empty space next to us. So like I had a great time at that ribbon cutting. And we'll talk more about that in a minute. But yeah, so it is the community. 100%. I would love for people to say the podcast every time, and don't cheat and say that. I would love for people to say the podcast every time, but I love the podcast. I love being able to come and do this and be able to learn more. So I learned so much from you today, and I can't wait to come to your Lunch and Learn on March 7th. I keep trying to say April. It's not April yet.
No.
But March 7th. So that'll be exciting stuff. So thank you for coming on today and for sharing. And I learned a lot. And I was getting ready to try and take notes and things like that. I'm like, it's a podcast. You can go back and listen to it. So I'll be listening to it once it posts this afternoon. So and hopefully I'll remember what I wanted to write down. So, but yeah, I'm very excited for your Lunch and Learn. I think it's great for businesses, and just the simple fact that I never realized that there was business credit and personal credit, and you could just do business credit. Like, I have done the Dun and Bradstreet thing, done Google research, all this. And it's like, how do you do, like, this is hard to figure out. So it's great to have a guide along the way and be able to talk to you and figure that out.
And I can just tell you, like, I'm merely the herald, right? That's all I am. Our member delight team, they're the best people I've ever worked around.
That's awesome.
Business owners, really, truly, like, getting to work with those folks. They go to work every day and they just do a phenomenal job for our members. I mean, they come up with so much creative stuff for them to help them grow and scale. I'm just very proud to be part of it.
Fantastic.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. I'm really grateful for the opportunity.
Yeah, we're gonna go to a quick commercial break and listen to a wonderful guy read a very wonderful commercial. So, Visiting Angels, America's Choice in Home Care, is now serving Lynchburg and the surrounding counties from their new location at 2201 Linghorn Road, providing our community with personal care services, including assistance with bathing, dressing, meal preparation, grocery shopping, light housekeeping, and much more. Our trained staff have to pass all of our requirements for a high standard of care, ensuring that you have a compassionate, kind, and qualified caregiver. Our office team works with you as a partner in providing care for you or your family member to make the task of starting and continuing care an easier process. At Visiting Angels, we understand that every individual is different. That's why our team of dedicated caregivers is committed to providing tailored assistance to make you happier and healthier at home. Call 434-439-4698 to learn more about our services and schedule a free in-home, no-obligation consultation. Trust Visiting Angels in Lynchburg to bring peace of mind to you and your loved ones.
America's Choice in Home Care.
Welcome back, everybody.
What a great commercial.
What a great commercial.
What a wonderful commercial.
Woody and I just did a push-up competition, and he beat me, but it was $298 to $299. So he only beat me by one.
Well, that's
So-
my warm up.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't realize. You didn't tell me that.
Next commercial, round
Yeah.
2. So.
Well, that commercial was only a minute long, so I feel like $298. I think
So
that's a
y'all
personal
know.
record for me.
Yeah.
So
I prefer 45-second commercials. It makes me push a little harder, but
right. Yeah.
a minute will work.
Yeah, there you go. So really happy to have Bryn and Taylor with us today. And so Taylor, tell us a little bit about the Homegrown Company.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having us. I'm Taylor, one of the owners of the Homegrown Company. We opened last February. We had our ribbon cutting at 100 East Main. We recently relocated to the 620 of Bedford in Suite B. We feature a little over 40 makers, farmers, producers in our space. Anything from candles, men's products, farm-raised beef and eggs, fresh cookies, handmade woodwork, all kinds of good stuff.
Yeah, I went to your ribbon cutting a couple of weeks ago. Well, it feels like a couple of months ago, but a couple of weeks ago. And you guys do win today for shortest commute to the podcast. So they are just, Woody and I were talking. We weren't sure who's on the right side of the tracks and who's on the wrong side of the tracks, but
I think we're on the wrong.
Yeah, that's what we decided. We were on the wrong side of the tracks. And yeah, but you guys do win for shortest commute. So they're in the 620 in Bedford. It's a cute little store. Like it's like I said, I came to your ribbon cutting and it took everything I had not to walk out of there with like $4,000 worth of stuff. So there's a lot of like there's some customized laser engraved things that I think they even have Squatch soap, Woody.
Do you? You have Dr. Squatch with Squatch soap? Oh my god!
Yeah.
Well,
See, I paid attention.
Told me that.
And they have a lot of candles with funny sayings on them, none of which I will read on here. But it's hilarious.
Store. Yes.
Yeah, and just a lot of different variety of things, a lot of handmade and homemade items that are just wonderful, like jewelry. I know you had bottle openers that had like something on them. I don't remember what. You had some Bedford items as well that are like showcasing the Bedford area, different things like that. So I'm going to put you on the spot. I know you have a lot of different vendors and things like that. What is your favorite item that you sell in the store?
Ooh. I think my personal favorite would probably be Bluebird's beef. I really enjoy it. We have ground beef in shop. We have
That was not what I was expecting to hear.
Really?
When I heard Bluebird, I was like, what soap is that?
So I saw you had the refrigerated case over there, but I didn't actually go look in it, right?
Oh,
so like
good.
I was like, oh, well, I love the
candle,
soy latte caramel candle, or like something just like it. You're like the beef.
Yeah,
it's all about the beef. So yeah, no, that's great.
Good.
So, Bryn, what about you? What's your favorite item that is sold in the store?
I think mine would be any of our woodworking items. Like I love our cutting boards.
Yeah.
We truly have an incredible selection of cutting boards. So that would be my
You do, and they're beautiful. So so I also have a side thing where I make like laser engraved things and stuff like that. So I always look at those when I go in somewhere. They are done really well. That is something that I have not mastered yet, and it's more of a hobby for me than anything. But it's
like
there's
our
some
cutting
really
boards,
nice.
Like the cutting boards they are hand carved. They're and we take a lot of pride in that for being handmade. So we do have there's a lot of like talent that goes into that time. So those boards, they really are a piece of work.
Yeah, they are. To make a cutting board is not hard. To make a beautiful cutting board is extremely difficult, and they are the ones in your store are absolutely beautiful. So it's a good thing. So how long have you guys been in business? And I know that you're right across from the Blue Lady. Is that right?
We were.
Okay. I went to the Blue Lady for lunch today. They have the best BLT ever. I'm just saying. I've been talking about that. That's only the second time I mentioned it today on the podcast. So apparently it had a big impact on my life today. So how you guys were there and then you relocated, and I think you have a bigger space now because I've been in both, right? Because when they did one of the car shows, I think my wife and I came in and we were looking around at the different things. So, so it's a much bigger space for you. You can have space for more products and more beef.
Yes.
Yes.
All the good. Yes.
Yeah.
I would say that moving to the 620, we were able to grow like our pantry. We're able to offer, we have a client base right upstairs that's going to buy some of those more farm to table products.
Right.
So like our beef, and salsas and flowers and things like that. I'm excited to see that part of our business grow. That was new with the new location.
Very cool. Very cool. So how long have you guys been in business as
Since
the homegrown
last
company?
February.
Okay. So fairly new.
First, yes.
Okay. So
Year 2.
Yes.
yeah. Yeah. Scary stuff, right?
Yes.
So
It's exciting.
and now you can use the excuse though, like, well, we moved at the old location. It wasn't like this.
Yes.
Like, you know, yeah, but it's a great space. You have a lot of great products, things like that. So, I always like to ask people kind of like, how did you get into this? Like, how did you decide to just, I think I want to own a business and start selling these things? Or like, how did the homegrown company, how was it homegrown?
Yeah, this is a great story, and it's kind of long, so we'll get through it. But
We got 20 minutes. Go for it.
Taylor and I independently own businesses.
Okay.
So we went through a business competition program, and through that we connected in Bedford. So as we went through that, we're just anticipating like the growth of our own individual businesses. And then kind of by early summer, we were collaborating, trying to figure out, how growth was going to work for both of us, kind of in this place we put ourselves. And we were like, well, we truly have a passion for people who do what we do, which is true, like handmade items from beginning to end, and really taking pride in what you're offering. So that is how we came about the homegrown, because it was where people of our size could go and take their products and sell it without having to have the crazy overhead costs that
Right.
come with storefronts, because it's so expensive, and it's someone starting out and trying to grow that's a huge chunk to take on. So we are really thankful for how it came about through the program we went through, and being able to like offer this place for people to sell. I think we're even more excited to see how it's taken shape a little bit over this last year. So this new spot, there seems to be this thriving life in this part of town, Bedford, now with Beals and the apartments. And I think we're excited to kind of grow with that since it's new. And we have a whole, like our pantry, we're just getting started. We're going to be able to offer so much,
Yes.
from so many vendors. Like we're in contact with, offering lamb, trout. We've got, farmers with their, summer produce. So it's going to just become a whole really wonderful, like gift, mercantile type of store.
So more than just gifts and I want to say novelty items, but that's not what I mean. Like cool, unique gifts and different things like that. But it's going to be so much more. So it's going to be fresh farm produce and beef already,
Yes.
and things like that. Well, that's good to know because I'm here every Wednesday. So I guess I know where my stop after the podcast will be each week.
Yeah.
So
Come on.
yeah,
over.
no, but that's great because it's sometimes it could be hard to find fresh produce, and you've got different places in the farmers market, things like that. But if you're like me, like I can't get out on Saturday before the farmers markets close and things like that. So having somewhere that you can go during the week and kind of pick that up on a regular basis would be fantastic. So yeah, excellent. So so you said you met through this program.
Yeah.
Or did you know each other before that?
We did. We actually went to high school together.
Oh, okay.
We did.
Okay. So you knew each other, but really got closer going through this contest. And you said you both were running your own business. So what was can I ask what the business before was?
Sure. My personal business is Ryler and Company Designs.
Uh-huh.
I'm a stay-at-home mom. I have a 5-year-old, and I do woodwork with my father. He's a retired firefighter, so we get to do that together. And
That's
I do
cool.
Local shows around Virginia and North Carolina, and sell my products at the Homegrown Company too.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how about you, Brian?
I am the owner of the Kind Baking Company. I also sell my products at the Homegrown Company, and I'm a private chef.
Okay. Very cool. Woody, if you had a professional kitchen here, they could have made us lunch today.
They sure could.
Just saying.
Oh man, I'm getting hungry now. The longer this episode, but
I
I
know.
want to smell stuff too. So they've got a great they've got a great selection. I can go up there if I'm hungry.
Right.
And then I can get soap if I want. I love places like that just like, that keeps my attention. Like I'm all over the place. So that's wonderful.
He is all over the place.
I will say the store is ever changing. Taylor and I love having an evening where we go in and just completely turn it all upside down.
Yeah.
So the next time you come in, the store has been rearranged. Product has changed because it's seasonal. Most of what you see is one of a kind or limited. So when you come in, we love that it has a really unique shopping experience in the sense that every time you come in, it should be different. It should look different.
So what I'm hearing is if you've been to the Homegrown Company, you should make sure you go at least once a month because it might look completely different and you might find something you missed before.
Absolutely. The product is constantly ever changing.
I love that.
So yeah, it's not just, we checked it out one time. Like you want to keep coming back. The vendors are changing. As people are growing, they're leaving for their own storefront, but that gives us an opportunity, a spot for someone else who's just starting to come in and have a new place.
And then with a lot of the homemade items, like we talked about cutting boards a minute ago. So like with the cutting boards, like there aren't very rarely will two ever look exactly the same. So as they sell and you replace them, like you're going to get a completely different look. So where you might walk in one time and be like, it's pretty, but it's not really for me. You may walk in and be like, that's going home with me.
That's
today.
right.
Right.
Yeah. I would say we just got a new vendor in who none of those boards are ever going to be the same. The wood he uses is just so beautiful. And it's just like so thoughtfully crafted, I guess. So yeah, those types of pieces you're not going to come back in or you're not going to be able to request that to be like, oh, can I get one like this? It's going to just be what is available.
Right.
Now someone like Taylor does really beautiful craftsman on her woodworking. So her signs, she's got some sayings that you could come in and be like, oh, I want that one. And she could do a custom size frame for you. So that piece that some items can be ordered. But some of those items are just one of a kind.
Right. So when they walk in and they see it, they should just buy it right then. Don't wait.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I'm hearing.
Things get discontinued too. So sayings or colors or, styles that you see right now, the trend is changing right now. So a lot of those things, it might not be there.
Right. Okay. So, Woody?
Yes.
I'm looking at you.
Hey.
I can't see you from the bottom.
Oh, I got you. Yes.
I don't have the effect as much. You have any questions, Woody?
I've got an odd question.
You had a look on your face like you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I do. I got one. And it's a weird question. Are you getting used to the train yet in your new location?
We're still getting used to it.
Yeah, it's the same here.
Yeah, every time we get into a good conversation with somebody, here comes the train and just ruins everything.
But I love that building, and I love you also because I remember where you were before, and it didn't ring until I was looking y'all up just now. Where your new locations. I love that that's in Bedford, and I love that's good because I love places that one offer. How do I word it? The landscape of the area, but they show like a little bit of everything. You know what I mean? So when you go in, it's like you really, like you said, your inventory's changing. It's always kind of rotating, but you have stuff that's from here that's made here, and it just kind of shows like if you're wondering what Bedford's about, especially for people that are passing through, and Bedford is a good place where people pass through. Like you get a good idea of like, this is like a really cool community. Like you've got some great makers. You've got some great, it's just got a good vibe. And I love that y'all are.
It's like supporting local, like knowing that like where your money is spent is really going to these people who are making something. And it's not just from someone who's buying.
Sorry, I jinxed it.
You jinxed it.
I did. It's my fault.
So sorry, continue. I'm sorry.
It's like they're buying something that is handcrafted and that is paying, like supporting their neighbor instead of someone's product who is like ordered from China.
Yes.
Like there's a difference there. And I think that's kind of where we take a lot of pride is you're supporting your community and in every way when you shop with us. I mean, you're providing two people to, work our shop for the week.
Right.
They're offering all of these vendors a place to stay and to sell their items. And I just think that it's just like really nice circle that we can offer.
Yes.
Now, when you're out, and I imagine that you two visit a lot of those, a lot of the fairs, like Centerfest, Vintage Lynchburg when that was going on. Do you all go around and like, you see something you like, hey, we want to put this in the store? Do people come to you, or like what's your main?
Yeah. How do you find your vendors?
Yeah. Like,
I'd say a
are
little
you
bit of
head hunting?
both.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think if we're out, like I was just recently in Alaska, and there was this lady who made trains, little toy trains. And so I took a picture of it and I sent it to Taylor, and I'm like, hey, let's reach out to her. I know it's not exactly local, but that's supporting someone who's like doing this
Yes.
handcrafted thing. But like, yeah, she's attends a lot of the local markets. So she'll go out and she's scouting and handing out our card to see if there's mutual interest as well. Social media is a great way.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love
Taylor does a lot of that.
I enjoy it.
that.
I've been
You
doing
love
with my
sourcing, right?
personal business. I've been doing shows about 5 years. So
Okay.
I've made a lot of contacts, and I'm grateful for those. And some of them have kind of resurfaced now that I have a storefront to offer them a place to sell their goods.
Right.
So then they have their own connections, and just it's just a nice circle of support.
Yeah. And how many vendors did you say you currently had?
Just a little over 40. We're at
Man.
like 43.
So I thought that's what you said. I'm like, I don't think I heard that
Oh my
right.
gosh.
It's
So-
a lot of work.
We're grateful.
So 40. So it's and there's a lot of items in the store. So it's not, I've been to a few stores where it's, somebody has started a storefront and they make all the products and things like that. And it's hard to keep inventory. Like
It is.
Yeah.
it's hard to keep up. So, so it's great that you've got a wide variety of things in there and a lot of items to choose from as well.
Yes,
So
yes.
I love it. So
We have young entrepreneurs too.
Yes.
My youngest, one of my cousins, is making these beaded bracelets. Some have sayings, some are just colorful. He does keychains, key fobs, things like that. So even the age range is really
Right.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like under 10 to over 60.
Okay.
We got a range.
so they're getting up there
That's
close to Woody's
cool.
age.
Mm-hmm.
Almost.
Yeah.
Cool.
Almost.
Yeah, that's cool. So as low as 10 years old, and these young entrepreneurs are having a place where they can sell things and
Yes.
kind of learn like, oh, I can. I talk all the time about how people have passion and they don't know how to make that an outlet, right?
Mhm.
So I met somebody a week ago and they make these wooden shadow boxes, and they buy this long name wood that I don't know what it is. Like it's, some fancy from like Costa Rica or something. And they make just these little simple frame boxes, and he loves to do it. It takes him a long time to do it because he works 2 jobs and does it. This is like his downtime kind of thing. And he's got a little shed he works in and he makes it. And I was telling my wife, I was like, so here's someone who has a passion and loves to make and they're beautiful, right? And they're this very unique wood, all that. But like, how is he going to turn that around and be able to do that to where even just to pay for more material just to keep doing it? So he's got that hobby, because hobbies are expensive. So
Yeah.
I hope my wife's not listening, because she will say, yes, they are. Stop getting them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think we learned that because our businesses probably started off as more of maybe not necessarily like a hobby, but like a secondary thing. And then at some point, you just got to take that moment of chance that you have
Right.
to be like,
Yeah.
we're gonna try this all in or nothing. And we did that personally and together all at the same time.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, because you find something that you like doing and you're like, oh, I can make this beautiful thing. And then you're like, well, I made one, but I don't need 30 of these in my house. Right. So then where do you go from there? So it's great that like local artisan, I can't talk today, local artisans and things like that have a venue that they can come to and be able to do that. And also for people to be able to find those products, because if I was to make 30 of this, whatever, 30 of this nice thing that I can make, but how do people find it? Right? How do I sell it? So being able to kind of showcase that is a great thing. So
And farmers markets, those are great, but those are also, I mean, more and more people are taking that path, so they're harder to get into.
Mhm.
Like you said, it's an earlier crowd, so you have a shorter window of selling
Right.
a product. So yeah, I know that we're just in the early stages of this. I think it has so much more to transform and shape. But yeah, it's just exciting that it's kind of community supported,
Mm-hmm.
or however it takes shape.
Right.
So yeah, I'm thankful that we get to do it together.
yeah, that's great. That's great. So you've built a business and a better friendship and all sorts of things. So hopefully you built a better friendship, and you're not going to leave here and like get in separate cars and be like, I'm never talking to her again.
I mean,
I mean, it could happen. No.
no, we have it. Like I said, this whole thing, this business and our individual businesses, we're all at a place at the exact same time, all going through the same transformations. So, as difficult as it was at times to have to balance all of them, like, thank goodness someone knew where I was, like, could understand all of the changes that are happening. Because it's one thing to start a business, but it's also another thing to start a business, open up shop, and do that with multiple businesses. So,
And move.
and then throw in a move in there. And after we've established ourselves in town, which was really great, it's supported. We got a lot of people who know us from that location. So now we have to show them, hey, we're over here, and we have more to offer. So I don't know. We're just getting started in the second year. It's good.
Yeah, it's great. And it's great that you new business since February of last year, but you've also got kind of like someone that you're not having to figure everything out on your own. You kind of bounce each other ideas off each other and things like that. So that's always good.
It's nice to have.
Yes, it is. It is. I would not make it without my staff, without being able to go and be like, this probably sounds stupid, but what do you think of this? And sometimes they're like, no, that's totally stupid. And sometimes they're like, no, that's good, but I would do it like this. And then sometimes they're like, you know what? Like twice since we've opened our business, they've been like, no, Mike, you're 100% right.
Yep.
Only twice though. So, it's good to have like that team base that you can kind of depend on.
I mean, and that kind of is what our business is. I mean, everyone's supporting each other, everyone's sharing and helping each other out. So yeah, you can't, maybe you can do it by yourself, but I think
it's a lot harder to do by yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice to have someone who understands.
Yeah. And so that's why I think you guys are like, it's great that you guys joined the CVABC, because the CVABC is kind of like businesses that all support each other. And you've got that kind of like on a micro level in your store, because you're supporting artisans and vendors and things like that. And they're also supporting you. So, and then you have each other as well. So it's good stuff. So yeah. So you guys opened in February. So how long have you been part of the CVABC?
It's been a year now, correct? Yeah.
Okay.
A year. Yep.
Awesome. So it didn't take you long after you opened to realize the wisdom of joining the CVABC.
Of course. Yes.
So yes, good answer. So I'm gonna ask Bryn first.
Yeah.
What is your favorite part or your favorite benefit of being a member of the Central Virginia Business Coalition?
I love the emails. I just like scrolling through and seeing the new members who've joined, people who are promoting something, and it's a constant reminder of like who's part of it.
Okay, awesome. Maybe I should put something in there then.
Yeah.
So next week.
Now the podcast, I'm really intrigued. I really like this situation.
Yeah, it's really good. So I really like being able to talk to. So I kind of cheat, because being the host, the co-host, allegedly. So my name's not on the sign. We're just gonna get Woody right here.
It's not on the album art yet.
It's only been a year, Woody.
You gotta. Okay. Well, there's an episode threshold that we have to meet, and then you become the temporary co-host, and then you become the official.
Oh, good to know. Good to know. Yeah.
Progression.
So I guess it's 2 years. Who knows? Anyway, that's enough giving Woody a hard time about that. So I totally lost track of what we were saying. That's hilarious. So you enjoyed the podcast. So I think that it's almost like a cheat for me, because I get to talk to all these businesses and and if I have a question, I can ask it. And my wife is usually right here texting me as well. Oh, she's been sending me like 30 text messages and I didn't read them. So oops, sorry, honey. Yeah, I totally lost track. This is great. So it's great though, because I get to talk to all these different businesses and I get to ask questions, and Sheena helps me and sends me questions like, ask this. So I really get to, it's almost interactive for me. So it's great. But being able to go back and listen to some of those episodes, like it's great to have a platform that small businesses can talk about, because I told somebody that, I was on a podcast the other day and they were like, you were what? Like, for what? I'm like, for Visiting Angels, and it's kind of cool to be able to, for you to be able to kind of tell people what you're about, because newsletters are great, things like that. But actually being able to hear kind of your story and how you got started is a great thing. So,
for sure. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. So what's your favorite benefit of being part of the CVABC?
I would say my favorite benefit is just simply the support that Heather and her staff give. I did not realize how many volunteers she had as well, which That's really great that the community comes together like that to support all the local businesses. But I would say just as a whole, just the support that they provide for all the small businesses.
It's a fantastic community that comes out for a lot of the members, and a lot of people who. So let's talk about Vows by Vanessa again yesterday. So she just started in August. Like she's been doing this a long time, but she just moved to the area in August, and so she's a new member to the CVABC. Had a ribbon cutting and had a nice big crowd come out. So it was great, especially when she does not have like a location. Yeah. So Ridgeview Event Center was very great in partnering with her, and Colby Brown over there is fantastic. So hopefully he's listening today. But they were able to do that and have their ribbon cutting and do that when she doesn't have a physical location. So I think that's one of the great things about the Central Virginia Business Coalition as well, is that you kind of give those businesses that don't go, oh, I can have a ribbon cutting. Like I didn't think about that. They also have that opportunity. So it's great. Yeah. So you guys should get little mini ribbons, and when you get a new vendor, you should like cut a little ribbon. That would be super cute, right? That would be great for like your social media.
Yes.
Like, hey, we have a new vendor.
Great idea.
And then cut a little thin ribbon, like with a little teeny tiny pair of scissors. So
Love it.
yeah. So anyway, thank you guys for coming today.
Thank you.
It was a great episode today. We had quite the range of guests there.
Man.
So from being able to set up credit and the business financing and things like that with the EIN number, all the way to the homegrown company with all their different products, and they sell beef, in case you didn't know. So I learned something new today. Beef and soap, so you can have
all the things.
Yes, you can make a hamburger and then take a shower.
That's a good day for me.
Yeah. So, all right. So if you want more information about this, you can go to mediasquatch.com and learn more about different podcasts that Woody does here.
Thank you.
And then if you want more information about the CVABC, how to be a sponsor, how to be a member, how to be part of this great community, check it out at cvabc.org.